Patreon.com/the Walk-Off Podcast. $4 a month gets you in there.
So I did want to talk the bubble spots on this roster, and you know what? The guys vying for these spots are not making things any easier. I've actually been really impressed with what we have seen out of Addison Barger to this point in spring. Nathan Lucas has looked excellent, both as a defensive outfield option and at the plate. He's taken some walks. He's gotten some hits. Spencer Horowitz has done the same thing. Now, there is, and I actually got messaged about this, and this is why we're bringing it up. I just figured we wouldn't wait a week for the mailbag to talk about this. But Wynton Bernard, okay, he was playing for the Colorado Rockies last year. He was a guy being yo-yoed up and down. He wasn't a full-time major league player, has never been a full-time major league player. He's 32 years old. He has 10 years of minor league experience, of pro ball experience, and affiliate experience. The guy has been around and seen it all. Is this the dude you would like as your fourth outfielder? He hits right. He's got a ton of speed, and he does play left, right, and center. They've got three guys who can play center. I'm not sure if it's necessarily maybe it's advantageous for him to play all three outfield positions as it would be on maybe a different team that didn't already have a bunch of versatility there. But Wynton Bernard, he's kind of stood out. He's looked good, and he's running the base path. That's one of his top skills is his base running, and he's looked good doing it. I don't think that this is a direction they take, but that's who Wynton Bernard is.
Okay, so Wynton Bernard, speedster. 3 stolen bases last year. 42 games. 3 stolen bases. He has 1 so far in spring training. What am I missing here, Scott?
Well, Adam, if he doesn't get on base, it's tough to steal bases. And this is why he has been a fringe player the entirety of his career. I don't think we're going to see anything new out of 32-year-old Wynton Bernard. I really do believe he is what he is. It does add a little bit of depth, though, and that fourth outfield spot is obviously up for grabs with this Blue Jays team. I think that it makes far more sense to hand it to a guy that you are still questioning where his ceiling is. A guy like Addison Barger, where, he isn't who he is yet. You can't take Addison Barger's baseball card and be like, okay, well, his career average over his minor league stints is what we're going to see all the time. That's not the way development works. Addison Barger's 23. He's 9 years younger. I don't need to explain this to anyone. Everyone knows why it makes more sense to give our young up-and-coming prospects the opportunity. But to have that seasoned vet fighting for that spot, I do think that it increases the competition level and increases what we will see out of these younger prospects.
Okay, so I want to put Wynton Bernard off to the side. He's my last choice. No offense. Yes, I recognize 1,000 times better than I am at baseball. Of the other 3 you mentioned, so we got Barger, Lukes, Horowitz.
Mm-hmm.
Which of these 3, if any of them, made camp with this team? Which of these 3 would you?
If I'm a betting man, I think that it is Nathan Lucas. He's a right-handed bat, right? Can you double check that for me? I know that
MLB.com has him as a left-handed bat.
Okay, so Lucas is left, Horowitz is left, Addison Barger is left. So I guess it's irrelevant. The one thing Bernard does have going for him is that he's a righty, and that is something that would fit in nicer as that fourth outfielder. But I mean,
that's what we've been saying all year, right? Is these Blue Jays 2 left-handed?
We need a righty. Yeah, that's it. It feels good just to be on the other side of the coin, in all honesty. Well, okay, I don't know, man.
Here's what I'll say with Luke's. He's the old guy relative to the other 2.
He's what, 26?
Barger's 23, Horowitz 25, Lucas, whatever, is 28.
So, Lucas is 28. Okay.
So, as a primary outfielder, that fourth outfield spot feels like more up for grabs than a third first baseman or a fourth utility second baseman.
Yeah.
Right? Like it feels like the Espinal, Merrifield, Biggio spot is kind of where Addison Barger fits behind on the depth chart. Is
Yes.
behind that cluster. And then Spencer Horowitz behind Vladdy and Brandon Belt. So
Lucas makes the most sense positionally, I think. He's a better outfielder than both Barger and Horowitz. Both Barger and Horowitz do have reps in the outfield. Both can play left field. But you kind of summed it up. If you're Addison Barger, you definitely are considered behind that group of Merrifield, Biggio, Espinal at second base. And even though, yes, he does play some third, you're not knocking off Chapman. Yes, he plays some left field. I would rather see Addison Barger on this team, I think, than any of the other guys, just because of the potential that he has. And positional versatility, man, is not a bad thing to have. A guy who can play some outfield and all three of the major infield positions in second, short, and third, right? So
not at all. I will say with the Espinal, Merrifield, Biggio trio there, we talked about it with Yusei Kikuchi off the start here. The idea of like hasn't lost the job yet. Kevin Biggio, again, I know it's spring training. He's hitting 368.
Yeah, he's putting up great numbers.
He's not gonna be the odd man out, especially when Addison Barger hitting 100 points lower right now on his batting average. So, as far as like who might make the team out of camp, unless Kevin Biggio has some bad tacos in the next couple weeks, I just can't see Addison Barger taking Kevin Biggio's job. Now, is it going to be a short leash once the game gets started? That's another question, right? Like, come April, we'll see where Kevin Biggio's numbers fall. But for now, there's no way Kevin Biggio loses his spot, given how much this front office loves Kevin Biggio, looks healthy, and he's performing. It'd be a different story if he was hitting 105 right now and carried that slow bat into the ball season, but I don't know.
Isn't it exciting that we are at a point in the Blue Jays development and their trajectory towards a World Series? Isn't it exciting that we're talking about who the 26th man on this roster is going to be? Yeah. Like, we're not sitting here, Adam, like we would have been in 2020 and being like, who plays second base? Who's going to win this left field position, right?
Well, guess what? We're probably going to have that conversation in about 12 months about third base. We're going to be saying, who is going to play third for us next year?
Yeah.
And that's a bummer of a topic that I don't really want to talk about today. Let's enjoy Matt Chapman while he's here.
I like to be a little delusional and dream that this front office has a plan and that this is a problem that fans are a little more concerned about than they are, because they've already got their eyes on exactly the pathway they're going to take to replacing Matt Chapman. Maybe it's with Matt Chapman.
Did you ever travel as a young child, spend holidays on vacation in another province or country or anything like that?
Yeah, a little bit. Okay. Not another country, but another province.
I never traveled, dirt poor growing up, but I did live in a touristy community, so I had travelers come to me. Point I'm getting at, sometimes when you're young and in love, not in love, but what's the right word here, Scott? You begin a romance with another person that you know is short-lived, and you know that at the end of the week you're moving back to Canada, or they're moving back to Ontario, or whatever the case may be.
Or you're going back to Grand Prairie, Alberta. Yes, I get it.
Right. So
you can't stay in Red Deer forever, Adam.
You can't stay in Red Deer forever, but there's no, you gotta enjoy your time with that person, even though you know it has an expiry date, I guess is what I'm getting at. And that's where we're at with Matt Chapman.
Yeah.
Right? We had it with Marcus Semien 2 years ago. We've got it with Matt Chapman now. Let's just enjoy the 48 home runs he's going to give us and wish him all the luck with his $300 million contract with the Mets. So,
No, you summed that up very well. You are the king of of examples.
stupid analogies.
Analogies, yeah.
All right. Should we
Did you have anything to add on this 26-man roster spot that I'm sure we're going to talk about 3 or 4 more times before it's decided?
No, I think Barger is the more likely guy to contribute in a real way in 2023, but I also think that he is the furthest away from quote unquote breaking camp with the team. So
I would agree with that. And I think that we very well could see Addison Barger taking regular at bats come mid-May. I just don't see it happening out of the gate. But that has nothing to do with him or what he's doing. I think the Blue Jays will go the safe route to start the season and then see how he does in AAA. I like what this front office has done over the last year with kind of forcing guys to force their hand to give them an opportunity. And we saw it with Alek Manoah, and this is going to transition into the next topic perfectly.